Welcome to a video about a man I don't like. But Winton, why would you make a video about a man you don't like? Well, that's a good question. Thank you so much for asking. I am making a video about a man I don't like because I would like to teach you about his weaknesses. And together, perhaps, we can defeat him and end his evil. But please save your questions until the end. Now, this man I don't like, a lot of other people don't like him either. And if you're one of those people, then you're one of my people. Isn't it true that you don't like him because you're bad at playing as him? Yes, actually, it is. And because everyone else seems to be so good at playing as him. But I'll get back to that later. Also, again, please stop interrupting. Now, every arena game needs a sniper. This is just one of those constants of the universe, like gravity, or entropy, or the fact that Skyrim will always be playable on every console until the end of time. In Star Wars Hunters, we've got DIAGO Valar, a fully blind Miralukan man. Oh no, you're thinking. That poor man, he lost his eyeballs. But don't worry, friends, there is good news. You see, he never had eyeballs in the first place. Deep in space, on a planet called Miraluka, a species of sort of humans evolved to not have eyeballs at all. Although they still have eye sockets, which is way creepier. How do they see without eyes? You know, the Force, which is a pretty solid blanket answer for anything in Star Wars that doesn't make sense. I promise they did not just make this up for Star Wars Hunters, though, as Miralukans have appeared in a lot of other things, mostly the comics. There are a few that appear in video games, though, like Visas Mar from Knights of the Old Republic, and Inquisitor Jarek from Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. Hey, check it out, that's Christopher Neame. Real quick, though, this guy from Rogue One, Chirrut Imwe, not a Miralukan. Just a blind guy. Different things. Now, this is a cool piece of lore that I'm including before I go into the kit, because honestly, I had no idea. And I think if more people knew about this, then DIAGO might not seem as lame. Though, honestly, it is kind of lame that the game doesn't include any cosmetics for him where his eye holes aren't covered. Give me those eye holes! Anyway. DIAGO is a sharpshooter character, and specializes in hitting enemies very hard and from very far away. My explanation for him is going to be kind of backwards because I'm going to address the abilities first and then tell you about the main weapon after. But you know what a sniper rifle is. You play video games. DIAGO's first ability is a proximity mine, which is good for him because it keeps people away when he's not paying attention. Not only does the mine do 60 to 70 damage, it also knocks back anyone that walks into it. The knockback is not as strong as Sentinel's barrel slam or Chaos's backhand, but at higher levels, it can actually be kind of impressive. Unfortunately, the radius isn't that big, sitting just around 2 meters, which is another reason you're going to want to be very specific about the placement of it. Luckily, the cooldown is only about 6 seconds, and you can put a new one down even if you've already got one out, although you won't be able to put down multiple mines at once. This can be very helpful when you need to switch positions on the map and you want to cover a different vantage point. DIAGO's mine is also capable of something unique. Concussion. You're thinking, I don't know, man, it seems like Sentinel or Graz slamming you into the wall at high speeds would also give you a concussion. And dear reader, I wish they did. However, DIAGO's proximity mine is literally the only thing in the game that can inflict concussion, and it can only do it at very high levels. Concussion is a status effect in this game, like stun or trap, but it doesn't limit your ability to move or use your abilities. In fact, concussion simply makes everything wiggly for a little bit. So even DIAGO's eyes work better than yours. Is that joke insensitive? I can't tell. Anyway, concussion is so uncommon that I literally do not have personal footage of it, which is why I had to borrow this clip from Reddit. DIAGO doesn't unlock concussion until level 23, and the mines are so easy to avoid, I've only ever been concussed once, and I didn't even think to record it. Here's a fun fact. The mine is actually destructible. You can just shoot it instead of blowing it up, as long as you can see it first. Moving on, DIAGO's second active ability is called Heightened Senses, and it's just kind of X-ray vision, but not good? I'm sorry. I have to be honest here, maybe this is just me not understanding the application of this, but it truly feels like Imara Vex's passive tracking scan, but worse. First of all, you have to activate it manually, and while you do, you cannot shoot or drop mines. It takes 1 to 2 seconds, depending on level, to actually activate, so it's not even instant or automatic. Along with that, it takes 17 seconds to recharge, which is one of the longest ability cooldowns in the game, and even at max level, you only get 10 seconds of enemy reveal time. Here's what I will say positively about this. The range is wild at top level. More than 40 meters of visibility is inarguably impressive, and the fact that it can see enemies no matter what their health level is does make it better than Imara's scan in at least one way. For a character with no offensive capabilities beyond sniping, this is a decent ability. It just feels like it's not worthwhile to use until you hit at least the 5th upgrade. In many maps, there's actually no need to use it because visibility is so high from the right vantage points, and enemy movement can be incredibly easy to predict. Here is a personal opinion / recommendation to the devs. DIAGO should keep this ability, but it should also give him an alert to when someone is approaching him, but he's not looking in that direction. One of my main problems with this ability is that while I'm sniping, I have terrible peripheral vision, and people sneak up on me really easily. If there was a spider sense style alert that let me know when people were coming near me, even at like half of the range of the visibility, this ability would be so much more useful. Alright, now DIAGO does have a third ability, which the game refers to as a passive, but it pretty much isn't. See, if DIAGO is mid-air, whether he's falling off of something, jumping up in the air, or even being hit around, he can use a grappling hook. But again, I have to compare this to Imara. At base level, the grappling hook distance is half of hers, and the cooldown is only 1.5 seconds less. As you upgrade it, the ability will eventually hit a 2-second cooldown and a 21-meter distance, but that's still only 2/3 of Imara's range. The quick cooldown does mean that he can zip back and forth pretty quickly, but the situations in which you would be able to do that are incredibly limited. On top of that, DIAGO doesn't even get the speed boost that Imara does when she uses her grapple. Despite being the only 2 characters in the game that can use those grappling hook platforms, Imara still has a clear advantage over DIAGO. Alright. Now, it feels like I've spent this entire video talking about the bad aspects of DIAGO and pointing out his flaws, so let's switch gears and I will introduce you to the reason the rest of his kit is so mediocre: the Slug Thrower Rifle. This is DIAGO's main weapon, and it sets him apart as a sniper. This gun even fires real bullets, unlike the lasers that most of the other hunters are working with. In fact, the only other hunter that uses real ammo is Char. Because of this, lightsaber wielders cannot deflect the bullets back at him, only block them until they run out of stamina. Interestingly, and unlike Char, DIAGO's bullets have a very far drop-off range, only decreasing by 4 points of damage from this far away. By default, it only does 25 damage per hit, or 50 damage for a headshot, but that's where the beauty of the rifle comes in. See, simply just aiming down the scope of the rifle increases that 25 points to a full 55, and getting a headshot while scoped will of course increase the damage even more, all the way up to 110 points. It's important to note that firing from the hip can be done quickly by mashing the button, but while scoped, mashing the button can make it so the gun doesn't even fire when you want it to. Keep a steady rhythm while firing from a distance, and go wild when firing up close. This incredible damage output allows DIAGO to kill half of the cast with just 2 headshots. For reference, that's all of these characters. With a 3rd headshot, the damage increases all the way up to 330 damage, allowing him to KO anyone except for Char and Graz like that. The slug thrower holds 8 bullets per clip, meaning that a good sniper can deal nearly 900 damage before needing to reload. What's that, you say? That's not enough killing power for you? Alright, John Wick, let's break out the big guns. DIAGO's ultimate ability is called Piercing Rounds, and you better believe they do. The sharpshooter loads 6 high-density slugs into his rifle, which each deal 100 damage. This isn't affected by scoping, meaning you can use it effectively at any range. It does lower his movement speed, but it's not so much of an issue when you can deal 1200 damage just by landing 6 headshots. Not that you'd ever really need to do that much damage. The thing is, even when you're playing against a team of the 4 heaviest tanks in the game, they only have a health pool of 1400 total. Unless you're the only one alive, your teammates should easily be able to deal the remaining 200 damage needed to get rid of them. The unfortunate thing is that there is a time limit to this ultimate, meaning you may not even get the chance to fire all 6 slugs. Again though, you don't really need all that time. I can prove this by showing you this clip of my own gameplay, and again, I'm not even good at DIAGO in the first place. Being able to one-hit eliminate half of the cast of the game makes this a truly devastating ultimate ability. What about shields, you ask? Let me answer your question with another question. Who cares? Piercing rounds sure doesn't, because like I said earlier, they pierce. This ultimate fully ignores every single shield in the game as well as lightsaber blocking. The bullets will even shoot through multiple characters at once, so line them up and knock them down. There is no escape from this. Does it make sense now why DIAGO has so little in the scope of abilities? Everything about this character rides on your ability to use a sniper rifle, which is why the skill margin for him is so wide. You want to know a secret though? Come here. You don't even need to be good at aiming. See, if you open up the settings menu here, then scroll down to this button that says ranged firing mode, you can switch it from manual to auto, and the game will shoot for you. Now, that sounds pretty cheap and cheesy, doesn't it? That's because it is. Slap that bulk American cheddar on there, baby. We're getting headshots tonight. In all seriousness, this was designed for people who are playing on their little 6-inch smartphones and attempting to snipe like that. However, in the spirit of fairness, you can use it on console too. I personally do not do this because I feel like it takes an element of control away from me, but I do have auto melee on because my depth perception is terrible, and it makes characters like Chaos and Graz much easier to use. Whether or not you use this feature is up to you. However, it is available to you, and is often the reason why you will die the second a DIAGO can see you anywhere on screen. So, that's DIAGO. He's got the highest damage output in the game at the cost of having absolutely the most mediocre abilities you could ever imagine. Would you like some tips on how to play against DIAGO? I only have one. Find him before he finds you. The best strategy against DIAGO is to not let him shoot you in the head. That's literally it. Memorize DIAGO's vantage points and keep an eye on them so you can know where he's shooting you from, and then just take him out by sneaking up on him. He is especially bad against lightsaber wielders, but it will be much easier for you to reach him quickly as Reeve than as Jedi. A well-trained Imara can also do it, but again, you need to get the drop on him because of how quickly he can just turn around and eliminate you. Now, can I do some lore real quick? I have a grievance. No, get out of here, Grievous. I said grievance. Miralukins canonically have no eyes. In a world of magic and Magic 2.0, the Force, this is not that far-fetched, so I can handle that. You know what I can't handle? The fact that the game is so weird about it. There's a piece of lore that states that people don't know if DIAGO is doing it using magic, trickery, or the Force. Why? Why would this ever be a question? It is specifically canon that Miralukins use foresight. Why does Star Wars do this thing all the time where it pretends like it doesn't know what's going on in its own universe? And you know what else is weird here? Why do Miralukins have eyebrows? Eyebrows were specifically evolved because we are not covered in fur, and we need something to keep stuff out of our eyes. Miralukins do not have eyes to keep stuff out of. My personal headcanon is that every single Miralukin should look like Yolandi Visser from Die Antwoord. Anyway, the last thing I have to say about DIAGO is that he is a nerf herder, and yes, that's real. He herds nerfs. Carrie Fisher improvises one spacey insult in the 80s, and we all just have to live with it and the consequences forever. Nerf herder! Okay, Arena fans, that's all I've got for you. I hope this guide helped you in becoming the best sniper this galaxy has ever seen. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss more of these, and I'll see you out there in the arena. Later. Ow! Ow! Why would you do that? Jesus Christ. Oh, she jabbed her claws into my leg. Fuck.